Chapter 4: How to Remain Poor. Get yourself a nice second-hand car that costs more than 3 times your yearly salary. Have a lifestyle you do not need financed by debt. Managing debt. Living a debt-free life is many people's ultimate dream. As inevitable as debt seems, it can be controlled. Debt is not entirely a bad thing. Debt has the ability to help you acquire assets such as property that you would not have otherwise. Being in debt is not a crime. The first step to living a debt-free life is planning. Have a plan that is flexible and easy to work with. The best way to pay off a debt is committing to pay it slowly but consistently. If and when you can, pay off the lump sum. After all, it is usually cheaper to pay off debt in lump sum. However, most people cannot afford this luxury and have to pay off debt in installments. If and when you can, ensure you pay off debt as soon as possible. The sooner you pay off debt, the lesser the interest you incur. Longer payment periods mean less monthly payments, which translate to more interest costs. Less loan periods, on the other hand, translate to higher monthly installments but reduced interest costs. To begin with, make a list of all your debts in order of priority, ranging from the most urgent to the least urgent. Evaluate your spending habits and determine how you can spend less and save more. Use the money you save for certain debt payments. Begin by clearing one debt and keep at it until you have cleared them all. Try as much as possible not to get into more debt before you have cleared the debt you have. Depending on the type of debt, sometimes it is advisable to get into a less costly debt to pay off a more costly debt. This applies when it costs you less to borrow a loan to offset another than it does for you to maintain the existing debt. For instance, consider a person who had taken a loan from a bank at 22% interest on reducing balance. Take the duration of payment to be 2 years. Along the payment period, this debt may become unmanageable. In this case, it may be advisable to take a less costly debt, such as one without interest or with little interest, to pay off this debt. This principle is allowed in debt management. Ideally, the best way to get out of debt is by paying off the debt. It is actually that easy, but it takes a lot of discipline and self-control. The duration of paying off a loan should not be a matter of concern. It may take you months or even years, but keep at it. In the future, you will be glad you started now. Eventually, you will be living a debt-free life. This is one of the components of financial freedom. Borrowing is done for many reasons, but not all reasons are valid. One lesson that you need to learn from this chapter is never to take a loan or get into debt without a clear plan of how you will get out of it. Further, have a plan for the money you borrow. Only get into debt that will pay itself back. Do not get into debt for luxury purposes. In life, there is always competition. There is competition for resources, education, and love, just to mention a few. Competition can either be healthy or unhealthy. Healthy competition is good and is encouraged because it fosters the drive for success. On the other hand, unhealthy competition brings forth a strenuous and debt-filled lifestyle. When in unhealthy competition, you make such decisions as taking a loan to go for a holiday or buy an expensive car just because someone else had done the same. In simple terms, borrow money to acquire assets, not liabilities. An asset will generate income and pay off the debt, while a liability will cost you further. When incurring debt, always calculate your return based on the total money you have actually spent on the investment, including interest.